Hello everyone in Oneness. Thank you so much for watching this video. In Oneness, I'm Jessica Delmar. In this video, I wanted to share a client co-creation session because it aligns so perfectly with the unfolding. Over on Patreon, we had our live High Vibe Soul group this past Sunday, and for the past few weeks, maybe even month or so, I've been feeling the energy of the Realms of Gaia coming through. I've been feeling the energy of Avalon coming through. So there was something there, like a message that I knew wanted to come through, or maybe a continuation of the video series that I did in the past, the 4 Realms of Gaia and Opening to Magic, but I just haven't had the time to sit down and bring that through. In this past weekend's High Vibe Soul group, the Realms of Gaia topic came up. People wanted to know more, and so it was perfect unfolding when I sat down today to connect to a client for his high vibe heart reading that the Realms of Gaia came through in connection to Atlantis. So I'm just going to read what came through in my client's transmission. It came through in writing, and I want to also give a thank you to my client for this co-creation session and bringing this information forward. So the very first thing that opened up in terms of the message was actually a soul memory of my client during the time of Atlantis and Avalon. So the following message came through from the guides. Atlantis was a very water-centric city. Energy of water powered the city in many ways. The rest of the very luminous city was powered by the sun, earth, and other types of knowledge, sort of similar to Tesla knowledge. There were waterways all throughout the city of Atlantis, and it took people to many different parts of the city, as well as other towns outside of the city. My client was a boy who lived in a town outside of the city and dreamt of the luxurious, bustling city life of Atlantis. He would often ride the waterway into the city to take glimpses of city life, watching the people and places. Water was his connection to the inner city of Atlantis and bridged much of his sort of daydreaming mind with the reality of Atlantis. Elders of Atlantis caught him one day in the waterway watching the happenings of the city. You could tell that the boy did not reside in the city, as his clothes were more simple, homemade, like muslin cloth of beige and brown. It was not the luxurious textiles that the people in the city wore, which were more ornate and shiny and elegant. The elders caught the boy, but not in a bad way it seemed, but just questioned why he was there. The boy did not answer because he spoke a different language. His town, which then sort of felt more like a village, was far from the inner city of Atlantis, and the people of his village spoke a different language than the people in the inner city of Atlantis. The boy did not understand the elders, and the elders did not understand the boy, and in the misunderstandings came a whirlwind of upheaval. I asked, what type of upheaval? And what came through was perception. The minds of the boy and the elders were not in alignment regarding the perception of their reality, meaning that the perception of the boy was to watch the city, to feed his hunger of curiosity and dreams of the city. And the perception of the elders was that the boy was there to spy or steal. The elders took the boy and put him in a holding space. The boy stayed in that space for a long time. There was no trial, no jury, only defeat for the boy. And in the boy's mind, he was not able to escape or leave or even notify his family where he was. The boy stayed in the holding space for 10 Earth years. The boy became a man, and in his mind, the boy was a slave to Atlantean elders. On the 10th year of being in that holding space, the boy received a gift in the form of grace. A child of one of the elders befriended the boy when he first got to the holding space. The friendship grew over the many years, and on the 10th year, the boy's friend opened the holding space and let the boy go. The boy was not angry. The boy did not have any resentment. The boy did not have any hate or holding anything against anyone in his heart. The boy had a good heart, open and full of love. When he was freed, he opened knowledge to the elders that he was not a spy, but a jovial, curious child when the elders first found him. By this time, he could communicate and speak the language because his friend taught him the language over the many years. The elders were shocked. They opened their home to the boy who was now a man, their home being Atlantis. The boy, now a man, was granted citizenship to Atlantis. The boy, now a man, ended up opening a shop at the end of a very busy street in the city. He sold maps of Atlantis and the surrounding towns. The boy, now a man, knew the outskirts of the city and the many waterways that connected the many different towns and villages outside of the city, and his maps were valuable to people who were curious about travel, much like he was. The boy ended up having a good life, opening up abundance despite tragedy. But then, the downfall of Atlantis opened in the city. The man who sold maps also knew where to go for safety. He led a bunch of fellow Atlanteans up into the mountain where he knew was an opening or a portal to another world. I asked how did he know that there was an opening to another world? And what came through is he knew that there was a portal to another world, the other world being the realms of Gaia or Avalon, because the man was an explorer when he was a boy, before he was found by the elders and put into the holding space. He used the waterways to explore many parts of the land, both in and outside of Atlantis. When he was released from the holding space as a man, he continued exploring through the waterways, which led to him creating his maps that he sold. One day, exploring caves, he found a cave leading to another world, which was Avalon. The doorway to Avalon was opened for him because of his pure heart. The realms of Gaia, or Avalon, has many doorways and portals, but accessing them can only be done with a pure heart, meaning that two people can be in the same place but seeing completely different things if one has a pure heart and the other does not. The person with a pure heart will see the doorway to the realms of Gaia, or Avalon, and be able to enter. The other person without a pure heart will not see the doorway, therefore will not be able to enter. During the downfall of Atlantis, the boy took a group of fellow Atlanteans up to the mountain to the cave beneath a waterfall. The portal is within this cave, meaning walking through the dense cave is walking through the portal, and on the other side of the cave is an opening into grassy lands, open fields, a much different scenery than the one that they left, which is how the man knew it was another world. In reality, it was an opening into the energy body of Gaia, otherwise known as the realms of Gaia, and the land of Avalon, which exists within the realms of Gaia. The man led a few people of Atlantis through this cave, and those with pure hearts could enter. I asked, were there a lot of people that he led into Avalon, or just a few? And what came through was just a few, not a lot, because the people had to have pure hearts to enter. What came through next is that in Avalon, the man, meaning this life of my client, opened a business creating waterways and moats for people. The man had a wonderful life in Avalon, not extravagant, but simple and joyously abundant. Avalon flourished with the open hearts of the Atlantean transplants, meaning the Atlantean people who now transplanted into Avalon. These Atlanteans, now Avalonians, opened knowledge of advanced technology and science into Avalon. They opened knowledge of the physical plane of Gaia and Atlantis. And instead of using their knowledge for bad, meaning that in Atlantis, during the downfall of Atlantis, a lot of their knowledge and advanced technology was used for experiments and sort of lower vibrational things. So instead of using their knowledge for bad, they used their knowledge for good in helping Avalon expand. I asked, in what ways did they help Avalon expand? And what came through is, Avalon was a very primal civilization when the Atlanteans opened up into Avalon, meaning they had simple livelihoods. There was a big gap between rich and poor. But poor felt more like normal. So it wasn't that they were poor, it's just that they were normal and not wealthy. So it was more like either the people were wealthy, meaning kings, queens, princesses, etc., or they were just normal, meaning they were not part of royalty at all. The former Atlanteans opened knowledge to the civil servants, the people of Avalon, about creating wealth and abundance in a thriving civilization such as Atlantis. It helped to open people of Avalon's minds about business ideas and providing or trading goods and services in a whole new way. I asked, was this good or bad? And what came through was, it was good. It created a more thriving civilization and economy and helped open people up to a new way of living. But the wealthy class of kings and queens, etc., were not so happy. They did not like that people were getting wealth on their own. The royalty of Avalon provided a stipend for their people to live on, but with people creating new businesses, they were generating money on their own. The people of Avalon were not as financially dependent on the royal family as much as before, which in turn created a sort of downturn of the people's support and dependency of the royal families. Avalon opened free thinking and opened a new way of creating wealth. The people of Avalon opened new joined communities, which opened new hierarchy of classes of individuals. Think of all the different fairy tales that you know of and have heard of. All the different fairy tales stem from roots in Avalon. All the fairy tales exist in the same realm, but in different places of the vast land. I asked, are all those fairy tales real? And what came through was, oh yes. The realms of Gaia, more specifically, the realm of Avalon, exists very closely to the physical plane where physical humans exist upon. The realm of Avalon, which contains all the different fairy tales, exists as close as your breath. It is, in fact, in the same sort of space as your breath. You may not be able to see it, but it is there and very closely connected with you. It comes to people in the forms of dreams, daydreams, thoughts, emotions, fantasies, if the person is able to become a vibrational match to the vibration of the realms of Gaia or the realm of Avalon. The interpretation, however, of the stories and fairy tales all depends upon the person receiving the information and knowledge of the stories, receiving it through your own filter and vibration and perception and interpretation, but it all exists in one form or another. All the many different realms of stories or fairy tales exist because of Atlanteans opening into Avalon during the downfall of Atlantis. Because of the Atlanteans opening into Avalon, Avalon grew and expanded. Avalon grew and expanded in thought energy within Gaia. Avalon exists in the energetic body of Gaia, meaning the auric field of Gaia, much like the human physical body also has an auric or energy field. When the Atlanteans opened into Avalon, Atlanteans opened new energy into the energy body of Gaia. This can be compared to much like if a person meets another person, whether it's a friendship or a relationship or otherwise, the two people will merge their energy in a very strong and powerful way, which always leads to expansion in one form or another. Atlanteans opened new energy into the energy body of Gaia, and through this merge of energy, Atlanteans opened energy of divine masculine into the divine feminine energetic body of Gaia. Divine masculine energy was opened through the pure hearts of these Atlanteans in the form of advanced knowledge of mind, technology, science, and business, and the energy that these Atlanteans brought with them into Avalon. This opened divine masculine into the realms of Gaia and into the hearts of the people of Avalon. So it felt very much like Avalon, the realms of Gaia, the people of Avalon held strong divine feminine energy, or held strong balanced divine feminine energy, because it's the energetic body of Gaia, Gaia being divine feminine herself. And so the energy bodies, the auric field of Gaia, very much reflecting the physical energy of Gaia, that divine feminine. With the opening of the Atlanteans into Avalon and into the realms of Gaia, they brought with them this divine masculine energy. What came through next is that in this merge of energy came enlightenment in Avalon like never seen before. It opened magic in Avalon because divine masculine was the missing ingredient that the realm needed to alchemize pure, open magic in form. The realm already held pure divine feminine energy, again as the energy body of Gaia, but adding pure divine masculine energy opened an alchemical process like never seen before in the realms of Gaia. People of Avalon began opening magic and instantly creating with magic. And in new discoveries of magic and business came new societies and branches of Avalon that took its own forms across the vast lands of the realms of Gaia. The realms of Gaia, where Avalon exists, is as vast as the physical body of Gaia, and so the people of Avalon have branched out far and wide, and with them their stories. The realms of Gaia is now a very illuminated place and involves much magic in the heart and minds of inhabitants. But just like the fall of the dimensions on the physical plane, so came the fall of vibration in the energetic plane, meaning the realms of Gaia in Avalon, which led to the decrease of magic within the realms, although it was still existing. So keep in mind that this soul memory of my client is very much taking place when the Atlantean opened up into Avalon. That was during the downfall of Atlantis and Lemuria. And so it was still very much at a time when the vibration and the dimensions upon Gaia and within the realms of Gaia were still very high. And then after the fall, they started decreasing in dimension and vibration. So the Atlanteans opening up into Avalon helped open up and spread magic, help expand the realms of Gaia, help expand Avalon. But with the lowering of dimension and vibration, the magic also began falling as well. However, keep in mind that the realms of Gaia are still a more magical place, a higher vibrational space than the physical plane of Gaia. So it still holds the energy of magic. What came through next is that the inhabitants of the realms of Gaia are not as open in the heart and mind as they could be and as they were, but in the ascension of the physical plane of Gaia comes the ascension of Gaia's energy body as well. And so the inhabitants of the realms of Gaia, the inhabitants of Avalon and all of the other branches of societies and communities and cities and towns that branched off from Avalon and created their own stories and fairy tales, they're all very much looking forward to their continued expansion of energy, heart, and mind with the ascension of Gaia into 5D, which will open magic into the realms of Gaia and into Avalon like never seen before. So that's what came through for my client in his co-creation session and what his guides wanted to bring forward for him to help open up things, activate soul memory within him. But there have been other things that have been coming through other recent co-creation sessions, high vibe heart messages with other clients. I've been connecting a lot with the realms of Gaia with the clients that I've been working with. And what's been coming through a few people, including my client with this session today that I'm sharing, is that there are people who, we've spoken about this in a past video, I'll put the link to that video below, but people who have very close connections with the realms of Gaia, with Avalon. They have, I want to say, simultaneous lives, possibly other aspects of themselves, maybe even past lives in Avalon. But it's an energy that still very much exists. Again, past, present, future, and beyond all exist within your now moment. So even though it's a past life, you can still access that energy. That's why it still very much feels like it's in real time and everything's existing all at once. It's just a different aspect of you. And so there are people upon earth, and they're called sanctuary souls is what came through. And again, I'll put that link below. But basically people who are very connected to that soul aspect in the realms of Gaia, very connected to Gaia on this intimate, deeper level, because you have experienced life upon Gaia in her energetic realms, in her energetic body, as well as here in the physical. But that these people, the sanctuary souls, have incarnated into a physical experience at this time of the Ascension to be this sort of bridge between Gaia's physical and non-physical. Because there's a lot happening right now, even with the opening of the Trilogy energy, opening up that divine masculine, divine feminine, and Christ consciousness energy, which were being kept, they were being held within the realms of Gaia in their pure balanced state, and they opened up into the physical plane of Gaia this year with that 4/4 portal, and they're continuing to open up in waves to help open balanced Trilogy energy within people so that people can start integrating this balanced state of energy, which is more like a 0-point state where you're able to create from a 0-point balanced state. It takes you out of the duality and allows you to exist within duality, but within that 0-point balanced state, which helps you to open up into higher vibration more and more, helps you to expand your consciousness and your perception. It helps you connect to deeper and higher aspects of you in your now moment, because that's where your now moment exists, when you're able to move into this balanced 0-point state. And that's sort of the energy that we're playing with in moving into 5D and in moving further along on your ascension. And so there are these sanctuary souls, people in their physical vessels here on earth, who are acting as these doorways, so to speak. They are these bridges, again, that bridges the non-physical with realms of Gaia with the physical plane of Gaia, so that we can bring in, it's like people, the vessels of your physical being are bringing in all of that magic from the realms of Gaia. You are bringing in all of that higher vibrational energy, the balanced energy held within the realms of Gaia, opening it into, as the doorway that you are, opening it into the collective consciousness to merge with the collective consciousness so that it can connect and be accessed by more people within the collective. So that's another thing that's been coming through in terms of if you connect to being a sanctuary soul, if you connect to the realms of Gaia, if you connect to magic, you probably are connected on a much deeper level, connect to Avalon, fairy tales and stuff like that. You probably have an aspect there that's trying to connect with you because you serve as a doorway to bringing through a lot of that energy of Gaia's energetic body. It's like you're helping to transmute physical energy here, which is then therefore going to transmute the energy body, because if you think of your own physical body directly affects your auric field, your energy field. So you're kind of doing work on both of these planes, the physical and the non-physical, to help in that overall ascension shift of physical Gaia along with her energetic bodies. But that's what came through. I'm not too sure if more information about the realms of Gaia or Avalon is going to come through, but I'm always open for more, so we'll see how it unfolds. Thank you everyone for watching this video. Thank you to my client for opening this co-creation and bringing this information through in perfect timing. Together with you in oneness, I am Jessica Delmar. Oneness and love be with you.